everybody, and welcome back to the Next Level Podcast with Dr. Leslie. I am your host. Who else but Dr. Leslie? We are doing a wealth mastery, a sort of wealth, abundance, riches mini series in my podcast. Of course, all of you who are my regular listeners know that this platform is all about self mastery and life hacks and creating your absolute best life easily, gracefully, and in the most fulfilled and happy way. So, like I said before, we've been doing a lot of self-mastery in the last, year and a bit that I've been doing this podcast. We did a relationship series because let's face it, after we figure out how to sort ourselves out and get our inner game going, we want to be able to relate to other people. And oftentimes in that self-mastery shifting, we lose people, relationships have to change. So that was a beautiful, beautiful mini series. Please, please, if you haven't seen it, take a look. I had many, many experts in all sort of walks of life sharing their wisdom. And now we have this beautiful wealth series going on, and I'm really excited about it because who doesn't want to also be wealthy while they have everything else in their life figured out? Me, please. So I have a reoccurring guest on my show today. He was a part of my Carnivore series that we did. And we were talking actually a little bit before the show about Carnivore. We'll touch a little bit onto that too, because it's really important. Again, your physiology is important to your consciousness and creating your best life because your body is a conduit, right? It helps facilitate. So I want to welcome back, and everyone knows I butcher last names. It's like I get stage fright. I master their names, and then I F it up when I'm on the podcast. Daniel Magyar.
Good job.
Oh, thank God. I nailed it. Welcome.
Thank you.
I get so stressed out about names, but I nailed it. So thank you for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we talked a lot last episode you were on about Carnivore. And so for everyone to update you, he's a Carnivore coach. He was a millionaire at around 28. He's still a young kiddo compared to me, but he's going to be sharing a lot about his success and wealth and riches generating. But I want you to share with the listeners a little bit about what you were sharing with me. So I've been on the carnivore diet for like 10 months now. I haven't really done too much extra in terms of my exercise, mostly tango dancing, a little bit of heavier lifting, especially with the legs. I've been like, pressing 6 to 7 plates. So I've got like a nice juicy booty. I don't have like those problem areas in my legs like I had, but I showed him my arm fat. It was really gross. It was almost like the stuff that I had here got like placed here. And I'm lean. I don't have like the fat pads. Like my body shape is gorgeous, but I have like these little, it's just not lean. I'm skinny, I'm shapely, I'm tight, but at the same time, I'm like a little fluffy still.
Yeah.
And so he was telling me what I need to do, sort of, I've been experimenting. I'm a little nerd. So it's time for me to do some sort of a workout differently, but I wasn't sure how much of it was just the carnivore, how much of it was maybe the peptides, or just the lack of consistent exercise. So share with the audience what you were sharing with me about that.
I have plenty of experience with what you described. It's you're doing carnivore, you're doing your fasting, you're doing the weightlifting, you get lean but not completely shredded. And you just can't figure out that last missing piece, like why am I not getting shredded? Like I am lean but also soft at the same time. Like
Yes.
you can only get those 5 minutes of fame when you're pumped at the gym and the muscles are loaded with the blood and oxygen and you feel really good, you're really tight. So at that point, what you're missing is the steps, but simple steps, not a steady state cardio at 130, 140 bumps per minute. It's just usually on around 100 BPMs, and you just walk in flat, no incline, so you don't tap into the muscle glycogen, and you also don't create any further muscle damage. And steps is one of those activities that you can just do forever. So when I started walking more, I look at my charts. Um, I do have like a scan at home that measures my body composition. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. It's pretty decent. And when I added steps in, first of all, I started leaning out very, very quickly, and the trend of a muscle mass kept going up on weekly basis, and the trend on the body fat just kept going down all the time. This was one of the very few times that I was able to accomplish such a steady gain in a muscle and such a steady drop in a body fat. I changed nothing in my diet, and I changed nothing in my exercise routine. So I was forced to look into some clinical studies of what's going on in the body because I only added steps. And there was this specific study where the subjects who were walking per every 1,000 steps, they were increasing testosterone by 7 mgs per deciliter, which is quite a bit. Now, I'm on TRT, so I take testosterone. So I am firmly convinced that by walking, those people who are natural are going to produce more testosterone. However, those people who take testosterone, they're going to absorb more of that testosterone. There was also one very interesting thing. There's a hormone called aromatase, and aromatase is responsible for conversion of testosterone into the estrogen. Now, this hormone was blocked while the subjects were walking. So the testosterone was just purely an anabolic hormone, not being converted into the feminine hormones such as estrogen, which, contributes to the water retention and body fat gain, et cetera, et cetera. So steps are simply phenomenal physical activity that everybody can do on daily basis to stay lean or to get lean. And if you're really pushing on it, like I've been walking, anywhere from 20 to 30,000 steps a day. That's a lot of time, but I also work from home. I work from treadmill. It's hours and hours and hours on treadmill. But the reason why I go so hard because I want to get results fast. And it's proven to be one of those activities that if you just keep pushing harder at it, the better results you're going to get. Now, you can't say the same thing about the weightlifting. You can't say the same thing about any other physical activities. Just, you can just tolerate so much muscle damage. You can only burn so much muscle glycogen before you just completely tap out. But with the steps, you can just keep walking forever and get better results. So I'm anywhere between 20 to 30,000 steps a day to lean out very, very quickly and to
How
maintain.
quickly is quickly? Because I have to be in Spain in like literally the 26th of April. So in 4 weeks, can I
Yes. Oh,
lean
absolutely.
out? I think so. I'm like
Absolutely.
pretty damn close.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm talking 20 to 30,000 steps. I'm talking about visible results on weekly basis. Like you notice on yourself, okay, I'm changing. And your partner probably is going to be able to notice too.
Mhm.
Like people around will be noticing as well that you're leaning out. So 20 to 30,000, that's very aggressive. Like I really don't push my clients to do that much. I just tell them, hey, as much as you can do. Um,
So on maybe you don't know this off the top of your head, but if I'm on a treadmill at the gym and I'm walking at like a pace of 3.4,
that's fast.
that's usually what I walk on. Sometimes I go on like an incline of 2.
Don't do incline.
Okay, because it's
Flat.
okay, so it's flat, right? Because this is for those of you who haven't done carnivore but are fascinated about it. You don't have any extra energy or stores to do any type of cardio. You should not be. At least what I had learned and what I did, like you can't. You want to lift heavy or, lift weights, you're building, but you don't want to burn yourself out. You get hungry, you get dizzy, you burn through your electrolytes. It just doesn't seem to work. And you don't need to. We really as humans don't, I think, need to be doing the cardio, but the walking for sure. So how long would I need to walk at a 3.4 on a flat pace, do you think?
Well, at 3.4, you're going to get there much quicker because I walk at 2.2, but I also have 285 pounds. So it's a lot more exhausting for me to put that weight into
Sure.
motion. So for you at 3.4, I guess you're going to hit 10,000 steps probably an hour and 20, hour 15.
So if
Um,
I walk for an hour at the gym and then everything else I do during the day, that should be enough. Because some days I'm very sedentary because, I walk the days that I go to work, maybe I could shave off another 15 minutes. So maybe 45 minutes a day of
yeah,
walking
just get the
plus.
watch. It's like a cheap watch on Amazon. It tracks the steps for you,
Oh,
check
really?
yourself at 1 p.m. Yeah.
Oh, they're not just an Apple Watch?
No, no,
I
no.
don't
This is
like
just some cheap watch.
wearables. I'm like weird about having things around my wrists,
Me
but I
too,
could.
unless I want to make a quick progress. That's when I'll put it on.
Yes, and you know what? I'm so ready because I gotta slim down. If I want to be on the beaches and like be tangoing in like next to nothing in Spain, because the skirts are like slit up to the thigh. I'm gonna be on the beaches. I don't want to look like this, so I am totally aggressive. So Amazon, I can just buy like a regular watch. I thought only Apple watches track steps. There's other
No,
watches.
no, no. There's plenty of different brands. This watch is like $39.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
What?
very cheap.
Okay, you'll have to show me after
Yeah,
the
I'll
show what that
definitely
is.
show you.
I
I'll send
will
you the link.
literally Amazon it like today, so I can start
That's
tomorrow.
the only reason why I wear it is just so I can check myself at 1 p.m. and see where I'm at.
Okay.
And, I go very aggressive. So like I said, 20 to 30,000 steps is for me. But if you can get 10,000 steps in at the gym and then for the rest of the day you do 5,000, 15,000 steps is still a lot. You still can make a good progress. And then if you want to get a lot better progress, well, you'll just invest more time. 5,000 steps at 3.4 is not that difficult. At 2.2, it takes me about 50 minutes. I can average about 1,000 steps per 10 minutes at 2.2, somewhere around there.
A
So
thousand
you do
steps for in how many minutes?
1,000 steps in 10 minutes, it's
In 10 minutes.
2.2, but you're walking 3.4. That's a lot faster.
Okay.
So you can probably get there in 7 minutes.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so I'll measure that then when I'm at the gym tomorrow. And so like I said, I wasn't really lifting much at all. Like I would go sometimes weeks without doing any lifting. I'm pressing like six plates of 45, sometimes 7, depending on how nourished and how much electrolyte I have. Only like maybe once, twice a week. I haven't really been doing any exercise at all. My ass is like perking up and I barely exercise. Like I respond very well. This
That's
diet
amazing.
is it's crazy, you guys. Like the girls are like, "Oh my God, your ass." I'm like, I literally have only been squatting or pressing for like 3 weeks, like once or twice a week during that period of time. And my ass is it stayed. So it's really crazy how you can make gains and keep them. But yeah, this last piece is like, how do you really shred down where you don't, and you said it so well, where you feel you're little, like I feel tiny. I don't have those gross fat pads anywhere except, again, a little bit behind the arm, but you still feel a little bit of soft layer, like a little butteriness that I didn't notice before. And it's almost been a full year. So every cell in my body has been changed. I've been recomposition. So I'm like, okay, like it's weird.
Yeah, so if I showed you charts of my clients, like everybody who's doing 15,000 steps a day at least, like all of their muscle mass just spikes up. The muscle mass just go up and the body fat goes down constantly. It's a beautiful, steady increase in the muscle and
Oh my God,
beautiful,
I'm
steady drop in the body fat.
so
That's the last
excited.
missing piece.
I'm
It's
so
just the
excited.
walking.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
and not a steady cardio though. No incline, no nothing, just flat. You don't want to tap into the muscle glycogen. You don't want to create more muscle damage because when you're walking uphill, it's a lot more effort. You're using a lot more muscle. The heart rate goes higher, and as soon as you start crossing the 130, 140 range past 20 minutes, now you spike cortisol, which is counterproductive to the fat burn.
Right.
So you want to keep the cortisol low. That's why the heart rate's supposed to be low too. So you
So
should be walking at your natural pace.
so 3.4 might be it's a little too fast then. I might have to go down to 3.1.
It's your natural pace, whatever you would do
Okay.
naturally.
Okay. 3.4 is not natural. I push a little bit. So, okay, that's great. Awesome. I love it. Done. I will update you guys right before I go to Spain. Maybe I'll take some before and afters too.
Definitely.
And throw
Yeah.
that into your mix of clients. But okay, anyways, back to the show of what we were supposed to be on here for, which is wealth creation and riches. So, wealth isn't just about financials. It's about our mindset. It's about our experience of life. It's about having joy no matter how much money we have. But we specifically want to be focusing more on generating wealth. And Daniel has, again, he's had a lot of experience. He's become very, wealthy at a younger age. And so I wanted to have him on the show so he can share with us, those of us who are taking our wealth to the next level. And those of you that are newbies, he's going to be sharing a lot of different strategies from his experience and all of his people, and giving us a little bit of background of what those things are for those of you who really don't know anything about investing or money management at all. We're really going to try and dumb it down for everybody just so we have a really nice intro into these different modalities. And then he'll share a little bit about his strategies too. So make sure you stay on this podcast till the end. So tell us a little bit about where you learned your financial strategies.
So before I came to this country, I didn't really have any education on finances at all. So I was 18, I'd come to America, and I become working as a personal trainer at a very wealthy studio. And in this studio, all of the clients were super wealthy, like CEOs of the massive corporations or owners of the big companies, and really people worth, tens and tens of millions or hundreds of millions, or I met a couple of billionaires too. And they saw interest in me in business. So I always showed a lot of interest in business, and it slowly became like during the workout time, I was coaching them through the workout, but during the break time, they were coaching me in business. And as I was listening to these people, multiple and multiple people, they were all pretty much talking the same language. It's stocks and real estate, ETFs and mutual funds and all kinds of investments. And of course, you return the money back into the business if you need to grow it, but eventually the business is grown enough, you have plenty of employees, and then you just generate a lot of profit. What do you do with that money? And most of those people were talking stocks and real estate. Now, in different forms.
You mentioned ETFs and mutual funds. Do you want to explain what that is for my younger listeners that are sort of new to these concepts?
Yeah, so it's a fund that hosts multiple companies. So for example, like S&P 500, you buy S&P 500, but that money is reinvested in the 500 biggest and most wealthiest company within the US. So instead of buying every single company individually, you can just buy S&P 500 and that money is distributed between all those 500 companies at the same time.
And mutual funds are pretty stable and like assured, right? They're
Yeah.
like a long term, but I'm sure their profits are yield less just because they're more stable.
Yeah, so for the past 100 years, S&P 500 performed at 10% return annually. So of course, you're going to get some highs, you're going to get some lows, highs and lows, but it averages out at about 10% annually, which is phenomenal return.
And you can just keep buying mutual funds as much as you want as you accrue money.
Exactly. And there's not really, well, certain brokers do have limits. Some brokers require you to invest at least $100, but some brokers don't have limit at all. You can just put $5 in if you want to. So you can start actually very little. And the sooner you start buying S&P 500, the better. I do a little bit more detailed portfolio because my portfolio is very focused on the dividends. And dividend is a percentage of the share that company pays you on every 3-month basis or every 6-month basis or annually. So companies pay you because you own the shares. That's the dividend. And not all the companies do though. But my goal with my portfolio is to have a 5% dividend on the entire portfolio. And by the age of 65, I'm just going to transfer all the dividends into my bank account. And before 65, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to let the dividends reinvest in themselves into the same stocks. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
that's how you multiply. That's how you multiply your investment into the stocks. So let's say I buy a share of Apple. Now, for example, Apple pays 5% of dividend. So I'm going to get off of $100. I'm going to get $5 annually as a dividend. I'm going to let those $5 reinvest. So instead of owning $100 of Apple, now I own $105 of Apple, and then 5% not from $100, but from 105, and then it builds up like that. But of course, you still keep putting the money in out of your own pocket because you're still building your active income. You still go to work. You still own businesses. So my strategy is pretty much buying the ETFs and the stocks that are eventually going to average out at about 5% of dividends on my entire portfolio. And I have a phenomenal manager for that. His name is Tony Garcia, and he's just one of the smartest people in the stock market I ever met. And he took that entire pressure off of me where I don't have to worry about which funds and which companies to buy. And he just sends me the signals every week. So I never gave my money to anybody. Nobody ever had access to my money. But I get symbols from the people like, hey, dude, this week we're going to buy PTY. This week we're going to buy UTG. This week we're going to buy S&P 500. Or we're going to buy this and that company because it's on sale right now. The government did this, and the CPI reports
Wow.
came like this. So that caused the technology department to drop by 15%. Now these companies are on sale. So this is the symbol we're going to buy this week. Or some weeks I get, yeah, we're not buying anything because everything's too expensive. A week after that, we're going to double the money into some different sectors that are on sale right now. So this is what Tony does for me, and I really appreciate it because you really have to do a lot of research on the market to see what is good at
Yeah.
this specific week because the government keep changing things, and each statement from the government changes the prices in the market every week. And I invest on
Right.
Thursdays.
And this is what, and that's great. So and this is why I've not been able to get involved because I'm like, I don't have the time. I don't have the interest to be doing. I want to make the money, but I have not been in a position where I've like wanted to spend. I have no inspiration. Now, if I had a Tony in my life, sign me the up.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you pay Tony, or what is he, a friend, or like how does his system work, or a system, like is he like a financial advisor, or what's his title?
So
So
here,
we're totally like promoting you, Tony. So you're very welcome.
yeah, I
But
pay him.
okay,
I
yeah,
pay
okay.
him.
Is it like a monthly
Yeah,
membership,
monthly.
or he takes a percentage, or it's
No,
just
I
a
pay
flat
him
rate?
monthly.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't do percentage to anybody.
That's good.
Yeah,
I just
I want to
wasn't sure
keep my
how he
money.
operated.
Yeah, I want to keep my money.
I want to keep my money
Yeah,
too.
I wouldn't give it access. I wouldn't give access to my portfolio to anyone, and I wouldn't give any percentage of my shares to anyone.
And I
I'll
like
pay you.
that. Yeah.
I'll be happy to pay you, but I want to keep all of my money and all my money. So that's in terms of a stock market. But then also I do real estate too. And when I was listening to these wealthy people, they all do real estate and they all are different languages. Some people do commercial, some people do residential, some people do office buildings or retail centers or apartment buildings, but it's always real estate. So it was very clear to me very early on that you come to America, you build a business that builds a lot of active income, which requires your time, work, and effort. But then you take that active income and you invest it into the stocks and um, the real estate, and you should be fine. Like if you play these cards right, you should be fine. So I started buying properties and started doing some short term rental here, Airbnbs in Vegas, which turned out very well. Then I started doing some more long term rentals in Midwest because when I look at Midwest, it generates a lot better income on monthly basis than West Coast or Las Vegas area.
Why is that?
Because Las Vegas apartments, let's say I buy an apartment for $300,000, I can only rent it for about 2,200 plus HOA is like $400 or $500. So after taxes and everything, I might be profiting, $1,300 off of $2,200 rent. That's a lot, and my investment was 300,000. My profit is 1,300. Well, I can make 1,300 in Minnesota for 120 grand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so in terms of like monthly income, it's much better to go for me to Midwest where I have my whole team. I have my real estate agents, I have my interior designers, and people who rent out properties for me. So I just called them like, hey, is there any property available? And if it is, only thing I really do is just transfer the money. Like the whole team just does everything. Like they just send me the contract. Yep, sign this, transfer the money. There's a closing on this date. And then the interior designer goes in right away, does the whole thing because I like to buy some apartments that are not in the greatest shape. Not in a bad shape, but not in the greatest shape because that's my capital gainer a little bit. So if I buy an apartment for 150 grand, and I put a little bit of money into it, let's say 10 or 15 grand to remodel it, because it's in a pretty bad shape. And hopefully the kitchen and the bathroom is in a bad shape because that's your moneymaker right there. If you want to increase the value of the property, you got to remodel the kitchen and the bathroom. Those are the two biggest things in real estate. And
Oh, really?
yeah, you
Okay.
remodel those, the value goes up.
Oh, really? So
Hmm.
those are the highest like
Yes.
areas of the home that will
Brand new
increase
kitchen, brand new bathroom. These are two major things. So I try to look for the properties that have bad kitchen and bad bathroom.
I love
Because
it. That's such a great tidbit. I love it.
yeah,
And is that across the United States, like anywhere, not just
yeah,
near?
mostly.
Yeah.
Even
Okay.
houses too. Like kitchen and bathroom is your moneymaker. You want to remodel all the bathrooms in the kitchen and maybe
And
a little bit of touch ups on the outside so it looks appealing.
and
But
you go for apartments, not homes.
apartments and houses too. Houses too. But here's the interesting thing. Oftentimes I was convinced I have to get into commercial real estate, right? To really make it big and make big money. Well, I heard a story from a friend of mine who unfortunately locked majority of his money into the commercial real estate and his business wasn't doing so well. He had a lot of money, but locked into commercial real estate, you can't get it out.
That's
It
right.
takes 2 to 3 years to sell the commercial property. So his business went almost bankrupt. And he got into a lot of financial issues because he was invested into the commercial properties. So that kind of gave me a reevaluation of what I want to do in my life. Because my whole life I was focused on I have to get into commercial. Like if I get to commercial, I made it. And this kind of put me back because this friend was very wealthy. I'm talking about very rich people. And looking him and his business down. And now he has to, at the older age, he has to make changes in life where he literally has to go back to like a condo living or something like that. I'm like, from the lifestyle he used to live, just because he couldn't access that money.
Yeah, he couldn't liquefy it right
You couldn't
away,
liquefy it,
right?
exactly. So
Oof.
I'm like, you know what? It's not a bad idea to keep buying whatever can be gone within 30 to 90 days, which is apartments for the middle class, houses for the middle class. I can just buy a bunch of those, and I don't really need a management company unless I hit 30, 35 units or something.
Mhm.
That's when you probably need a management company. But until then, you can really manage it yourself. It's not that hard,
Mm.
especially when you have good people around. A management company doesn't do much for you. It's if you have a warranty on the house, like for example, when I was renting properties for myself, I called a management company, and the management company called the warranty company, and that's it. I can call the warranty company myself.
Right.
If there's something wrong with the property, makes sense, and I keep all the profits, unless you get overwhelming. It
Sure.
gets overwhelming. If it gets overwhelming, you hire somebody else to take care of the properties. But that's what people ask me. Oh, how much do you pay for rental management companies? Nothing. Like I'm not there yet. I don't need them. You
Hmm.
know, when you cross like plenty and plenty of properties, then sure you might need someone. But until then, I don't even get text messages from my tenants.
That's amazing. So let's rewind back to when you first started getting into investing. So you were working as a coach. You're making probably decent money, right?
No, I made a lot of money. That was the thing. I didn't expect that. I was making decent money as a personal trainer. When I was a personal trainer in Minnesota, I was making decent living, real nice living. You know, brand new apartment, new furniture, new car, new motorcycle, eating out with friends. Like life was good, very comfortable. Saved up some money, but when I started doing the online coaching, that's when things took off, and I didn't expect that. It was very unexpected.
So how did you build your coaching business? Because there's lots of people out there, as you know, on Instagram, on everywhere. It's like, if you want to be a coach, and people try and try. I know so many people who try and they fail or they're struggling. What would you say in terms of your entrepreneurial wisdom to make a coaching business successful?
So I was doing the coaching business the whole time as I was doing personal training. However, I never considered it as a moneymaker. It was just a side gig for me. I had some online clients, but majority of my clients, the most of my income was coming from personal training. But then COVID came, and there was no other option than go online. However, I had a little trick in my pocket. I was training with the resistant bands at home with the H3 system, and now the whole world is shut down. Everybody wants to train at home, and that's why I started making millions of dollars. Made sense?
Yeah.
Because there was just no other option to train anywhere else. Everybody was forced to train at home, and I happened to be in a situation already that I only train at home for like last year and a half or so.
So this was like really divine.
It was a
It
divine,
was
yeah.
divine. Like you were right place, right time. The world shuts down. I'm fucking making bank.
Yes.
Okay.
That was at the beginning of COVID when things exploded with my
So how
business.
did it look? You had an online presence, you had your clients converted over obviously to online, but then they were just, I'm sure they were all talking and it's like, how are you staying in shape? Oh, I've got Daniel. You got to talk to Daniel. And then I'm sure just from word of mouth, people,
No, that was on social media.
you were on social media too.
Yeah. That was on social media and
Okay.
Facebook groups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, social media and Facebook groups. And that's I would say that's what created that massive spike in my business was COVID, to be honest, because everybody was forced to work out at home. There was no other option, and I didn't plan on it. I was working out at home for about 18 months at that point. It just happened to be beneficial for me, and I I I hope it was for everybody like that. You know, I know that it had a negative impact on some other people and other people's businesses, which I feel really sad about. However, I was just lucky to be in that spot to be training at home with the bands, and all of a sudden, boom, it just took off, and all this cash started flowing my way, and I'm like, okay, well, now's the time. So I started investing all the money. I bought, invested a lot in the market, invested a lot into the real estate. Bought a lot of cars and stuff that I was probably not supposed to, and things like that. But
But you could and you did. And
yeah,
so what?
yeah, and then started investing into also I like some gold, I like some jewelry, and things like that. But I buy gold and expensive metals on a discount. I will buy it on discount. So if I like to wear it, but at the same time, I really need a good price for that. So
So where do you get your gold from and what's a good price? And are you doing it for like your bling, like you've got some bling on now, or
yeah.
do you do it to save and wait to sell it then when gold goes up?
So one thing is, I'll never sell anything I own. If I buy real estate, I'll never sell it. If I buy a stock, I'll never sell it. That's my strategy for life. I put in a trust fund, and whoever's after me, the next generation in our family, is just going to get it all. I'm just going to live off of the interest. I'm really trying to build that generational wealth. And I like to wear some gold. Like to wear some bling. And the way I did it is a very specific way. We live in Vegas. A lot of people gamble, right? So you might find yourself in a bad spot when you gamble. You probably gamble too much and you lost a lot of money, right? Yeah. You need some cash. Well, I got some cash. But you got some gold, right? So if you have a gold necklace or something and you need the quick cash, I'll get it from you. And I'll pay you better than a pawn shop, but I won't give you a full retail price. So I have my guy down in Henderson who I go to, and it's a Desert Jeweler Diamonds, very, very good spot for the jewelry. And usually I come with people over there and they claim this necklace is 14 karat gold. It's 170 grams. So I just have it double checked by my guy. And then he tells me on the side, he's like, how much is it worth? Well, retail is 20 grand. You can probably sell it on the street for 9 grand. I'm like, okay, well, my offer is 6 grand. And pawn shop is going to offer you 4 grand. So you're still $2,000 better than a pawn shop, and I can pay you right now. So that's how usually I get my jewelry. I walk into the value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'll never sell it either. I'll just keep that gold forever. And I'll keep, that's my strategy. One of my clients taught me a valuable lesson. We were sitting at the Wynn having a dinner, and he still owns the house. He owns a massive, massive corporation in America, and also invested a lot of money in commercial real estate. And he told me he still owns the house from when he was 21. I'm like, you're almost 60. Why would you own that house? Which is not really about how much money you can make and generate throughout the life, but also about how much you can keep on you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So just imagine all the money you used to make and you used to spend all through your 20s, 30s, 40s, and your entire life. Just imagine you were sitting on that money in whatever form, whatever it's in a real estate, or even the worst possible scenario still sits in your bank account and inflation eats it up. It's still there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I love that strategy.
Yeah.
Wow. My mind is blown right now because you've given us so many little tidbits and secrets and approaches. So this is really great. So in terms of real estate, homes, apartments, Vegas, and where was it?
Midwest, Minnesota.
The Midwest, anywhere else in the Midwest other than Minnesota.
No, because I used to live in Minnesota. That's why I got the team there.
So you just, because you knew people, you chose
Yes,
that
it's so
place.
easy for me to go there.
Okay.
And when I look at the value of the property and I see, okay, well, this is a $200,000 property. If you can make 10% a year return on your investment, you nailed it. Let's say you buy a $200,000 property and that property can generate 20 grand, you nailed it. It's like a dream deal. Most likely not going to happen, right? But that's what I'm really trying to get is 10% on my investment bet. So if I spend $100,000, I want to make 10 grand a year back.
Right. And so you just sit on, you're reinvesting the dividends, and then you're going to pull just the interest out from when you're 65.
Yes. Yes.
live
And the
off
principal is
that.
going to stay there forever. And the
That's
principal is
amazing.
just going to move in the direction of the market.
Right.
And at that point, the 5% is just going to take care of everything.
Yeah.
You know, if that was the only investment I've had, I can literally just rely on that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, because I can already see the dividends these days, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a serious passive income. I didn't expect this to be that strong. Thanks, Tony.
right. Thanks, Tony. And how old are you now?
30.
You're 30. So you started doing this how many years ago? You made your first million at like 28-ish, and so you're 30.
So my first Vanguard account was created by my client after a session when I was 21.
What's a Vanguard account?
That's the broker account on the market.
Oh yes, I've seen those commercials. Okay,
Yeah, Vanguard.
I didn't have the context. Yeah. Okay, he created
Literally,
it for
my
you.
client set me down after, you need a Vanguard account. I'm like, same question, what the hell is Vanguard? Just and then you're going to invest in mutual funds. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know if you speak English by now. But
Right.
he created my account, and
How much did he say to put in right there?
I think $50.
$50.
$50 or $100, something
So
like that.
yeah, let's break it down for people that are like just starting, don't know what the hell to do. Go to Vanguard, put $50 in. How often should they be putting money in?
I invest weekly.
Weekly.
Every Thursday.
$50 every Thursday.
No, I invest a lot more.
Well, I mean, someone starting out,
Yes.
25.
Yes.
There is no minimum with Vanguard, or is there a minimum?
I don't know with Vanguard, but there's plenty. Like for beginning, you can also do Robinhood. It's an app on your phone.
Okay.
It's just an app on your phone. It's a brokerage account. So you just open a Robinhood account and you can just buy certain companies. But right now the markets are really high. You know, we're doing very, very well right now in the markets. So,
So is it a good time to get started or not a good time, or it's always a good time no matter what?
well, it's a good time if you know what to buy. Now, let me tell you a story from COVID. Now, as the business was doing good, I was putting a lot of money into the stock market, right? But every dollar I would put in a stock market would be gone in a week. All the money. Like I put the money in on Thursday, by next week it's gone. By next week it's gone. And I
They were
just
just
keep repeating
tanking.
every
They were just
week.
tanking.
And I'm just calling like, oh
God.
my God, Tony, like I'm freaking out. Like every single dollar I put in is gone by the next week. It's like, this is when you're making money. This is when you're making money. When the markets are down, it keeps crashing further, lower and lower and lower and lower. That's when you're jumping in. When everybody's freaking out that the markets are crashing, that's when you step in. That's what Warren Buffett said too.
So you're buying as the market keeps crashing and they get lower and lower and lower. It always turns around at some point.
At some point, yeah.
So you're buying these stocks, you're sticking with it. They keep dropping. You keep buying at lower rates. You feel like your money isn't gone. You just bought something that maybe isn't the same value. So
exactly, the value
it's
drops.
devalued, but it's still there. You still own it.
Yes, you still own the same amount of shares. So those shares don't go anywhere. Just the value goes down, 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 down. So in my case, what happened when you imagine a certain number in your account, and you keep putting money every week in, and that account actually slightly drops. Even like it wasn't even increasing by the money I was putting in weekly. Makes sense?
Jeez, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I understand this game though. It's hard to watch it, but that's when Tony is telling me, dude, like just keep pushing the money in. This is the time when you're making money. Give it 2-3 years. Now, this is 2-3 years after COVID. I look at the portfolio. It's skyrocketed. It's insane.
Right.
It's the craziest, most ridiculous investment. So I'm like, wow, okay, you just got to stay consistent. That's what Warren Buffett was saying too. You just have to be consistent. You're going to get some lows in your life. You're going to get some highs in your life. But eventually it evens out, and you should be at about 10% of interest. Hopefully, if everything goes well, if you have a good strategy. Another thing was crypto. This is the big year for me. The crypto every 4 years. I keep repeating the same pattern. It's a very dumb pattern. And it works for me.
Oh my God. Tell us the crypto pattern.
It's a stupid pattern, like you wouldn't believe. And
tell us, this is a secret. Crypto pattern secret for investing. Here we go. Listen up.
Listen to this. In 2017, I come to the gym. The owner of the gym tells me, have you seen this Bitcoin? I'm like, no, what is it? I don't know, but it goes up. I'm like, how do I buy it? You download this app and then you put some money in there. Sure. So I put some money in there. I think Bitcoin was at $3,000 or 2,500 or something like that at that point. So I invest in Bitcoin. I keep watching it, and my money just goes up. Like after a session, I made a couple grand. I'm like, what? Like it was just going up so quickly. And then Bitcoin kept going up until like $19,000 or $20,000. It was December 2017. And people start freaking out in the gym. They're like, oh yeah, this is the end. Like, it's not going to go any higher. Like, there's no value behind it. So let's just sell it. So I sold it, and I just made money for like a whole year of bills. I'm like, wow, this is insane. Now here comes the huge crash, and the Bitcoin dropped to like, again, to $2,200 or $3,000, something like that. And I was in Bali at that time looking at the Bitcoin. I'm like,
thank God I cashed out.
No, I'm actually thinking like, I'll probably step in again.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like it's down again.
Well, right. You cashed out, you banked on it, and now the cycle's repeating. So you're like, okay.
Yes. So now I put the money in. Now 2 years flat. Nothing's happening. Absolutely nothing. Then here comes 2021. Bitcoin's up to 69 grand. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, Bitcoin was at 21 grand in 2017. That's when the halving was. Now, the halving again happened on the 2021, and the Bitcoin went up to 69 grand, which is triple what it was the previous highest high. And this is not proven by anything. It's just by me looking at the app. I'm like, it triples every 4 years. So I invested the money in 2018 or 19 when it crashed again. It crashed very, very low. Everybody was freaking out. Bitcoin doesn't go anywhere. It's just gonna like never rise again. So that's when I bought 2021, sold it again for 66K, made another big money. Oh, this is awesome. Like, I'm not even talking to anybody about it. I'm just looking at this app, like trying to use in my own strategy. I'm like, okay, it tripled in 4 years. Now there's another halving in 2024. So in my mind, it's my chance again. Because last halving, 2017, I made it and I had no idea what Bitcoin is. 2021, I used this very dumb strategy, and it worked again. So 2022 comes, again, everything is trashed. I push up. I'm talking a lot of money right now. Like, this is my third time doing it, and I'm just pushing. So when the Bitcoin crashed, Ethereum crashed, these are the only two I buy, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I push big money in, and I just pray. Hopefully this is going to work the third time, because this is my biggest gamble. Now here comes the 2024, exactly the same thing's happening.
Wow.
Exactly the same thing, and the halving isn't even done it. I think it's going to be in 2 or 3 months. And that's usually 6 months after the halving, Bitcoin just skyrockets, so I'm probably going to cash out by end of the year and just push all the money into the real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no education behind it at all. It's just watching the patterns, and after every halving, usually about 6 months, Bitcoin triples from the previous highest high.
Wow.
And it worked. Nobody could have believed me that.
So after it crashes, how long do people need to wait before it's gonna, like, you want to reinvest? Or you do it right away after it crashes, and then there's like a 2-year waiting period before it starts to pick up, or what?
So I wait for the news to start talking that Bitcoin is dead forever. Crypto is nonsense. It's bullshit. It's gone.
Everyone sells.
Everyone sells. It drops
lower.
everywhere. Yes. And then I just keep watching the app. I'm like, okay, it's crashing. And you watch news, and everybody hates Bitcoin. Everybody hates crypto. That's when I walk in. And
it's not going away, right?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You could. You don't.
There's specialists, people who specialize about crypto and the blockchain and all of that. I personally don't care about the technology behind it as much as the opportunity for myself. I really saw it as the opportunity for myself to walk into something that potentially is going to be here forever, or maybe it's not going to be. This easy strategy of investing into the Bitcoin worked out for me twice already, and it's working out already the third time. Like, if I sold today, I'm up hundreds of percent. Like, this craziest investment I've ever done. Like, no real estate, no stocks, nothing can match this. Nothing can match this.
Wow.
So even if I cashed out right now, which is not even close to, in my opinion, to the highest high. So yeah, that's why these cryptocurrencies are really good. And then I speaking of gambling, I don't gamble with the slots and casinos and stuff like that. But then you have these small meme coins. These small meme coins that mean absolutely nothing. I don't even know why they exist. But they have absolutely ridiculous movements. Sometimes you put $1,000 in there, and this can go up 20,000%.
So what are these?
Meme coins.
What is meme coins?
It's a picture of a dog.
What?
I'm telling you, it's a picture of a dog, like Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, and all these coins. These coins mean nothing. It's just a picture of a dog that has ridiculous movements, like millions of percents of increase in the value.
Wait, hold on. It's just a photo, or is it like...
You wouldn't even believe if I showed you. It's a picture of a dog, I'm telling you.
So this is on the stock market?
On the crypto market, yeah.
On the crypto market, just
yes.
a picture of a dog.
A picture of a dog, yeah. Literally, that makes no sense at all.
Like, did someone create it, or is it just like an image, like a logo?
I guess it does have some technology behind it, but I don't study it. I don't know what it's for. Like, it's never going to be a currency of any country. I don't know. It's a picture of a dog that has ridiculous movements.
So it's technically like a Bitcoin type. It's like a currency type.
Yes, it's like a currency type, but it doesn't have the same technology as Bitcoin, doesn't have the same technology as Ethereum. I doubt that even it has any sophisticated technology. I don't even know. But these meme coins, I had luck where I just put $1,000 into one of these meme coins, and it just spiked 700%.
Like overnight.
No, it's not even a night. Like, these things can go over an hour.
Wow.
That's insane. These are insane. So, but I mentioned gambling before, right? So that's one of those, you will never guess this one. The meme coins you can never guess. And Bitcoin, Ethereum, you can still kind of guess based on media, what's happened. But these meme coins are kind of my game. That's how I toy around with it.
That's like your casino, your slot game. It's like, it's like my fuck money. I'll just put it on this like dog with the wagging tail on this.
I won't even talk about returns. You wouldn't even believe that. Like when Shiba Inu started, if you put $1,000 in Shiba Inu, I think in 2017, and you sold it in 2021 at the highest of the highest, you would have $573 million from $1,000. Like, there's nothing on this planet that makes movements like this. That's why I'm saying these small coins that makes no sense are kind of my gamble because you never know which one is going to blow.
So they are like equivalent to like a slot machine. You just keep pulling the handle, you don't know, and then it might just explode.
Yes.
There's no method.
Yes.
Wow. That's cool.
To me, there is no method. I'm sure there's people who will say there is a method, but I don't really believe that. I tried the day trading, and that was actually the only time I lost money in my life. Day trading, trying to predict the market. Trade stocks on a daily basis.
Really?
Oh yeah, you will never hear about rich people talking about day trading.
It's funny because I read, and this is many, many years ago, that one of the most stressful job was the day trader.
I don't think it's a job.
Oh.
No, I think day trading, to be completely honest, I know people who owned day trading educational companies who were teaching, like one of the largest companies in the United States back in 2010. There was educating others on how to invest into the stock market and day trade. None of them day traded themselves. They were purely making money on education. Out of 51,000 members who were paying for the subscription for education from this company, all of them lost money in the long run. So that's why when I'm in the stock market, I only buy and hold forever. I never day trade. Day trading means that you're using the leverage.
Right.
So you can multiply the profits, but you also multiply the losses. And there's usually one bad trade and the entire account is gone. And everybody has a story like that. I was buying a piece of furniture here in Vegas into my house. And it was a very beautiful piece of furniture. It was from a lawyer. So he told me to come pick it up in his house. I came to his house. The whole house was empty. I'm like, oh, wow, you're moving. And he's like, yeah, I'm moving. It's a beautiful house, probably a $2 million house. And I'm like, where are you moving? Oh, we're downsizing and stuff. I'm like, okay. So then I started talking to him, and he said, yeah, he was a lawyer. He made a career being a lawyer, but then he went to day trade. And he was trading options, and he lost, I think, $1.5 million in contracts. And then he tells me that, yeah, but I don't really look at it as losing money. I lost contracts that I can always regain in the next trade. I'm like, you're delusional.
That's a delusion, yeah.
If you think you lost 1.5 million contracts or whatever you traded, it doesn't have effect on your life. Just look, yeah, this house right here is empty right now, and you're downsizing. You're telling me you're downsizing because you don't need this big of a house. No, you're downsizing because you lost the money. So it actually does affect your reality. And the only people who I ever met who really lost big money in a stock market are the people who are day trading. And myself, I only lost money in a stock market day trading. And the people who I know who are the best professionals in the market, they don't day trade. They just buy stocks and hold forever.
Or they just teach day trading and
or they
don't
teach.
Fucking do it.
Yes, or they teach. Teaching day trading, it's a phenomenal business because it's a subscription-based business. But all the profits are coming from the $99 a month that you're paying.
Oh my God. It's basically a scam.
I mean,
I can say it. You don't have to.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a scam to me.
Yeah, well, when I was at these group calls, I was following these day traders. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I didn't try. I tried. I paid the companies for education. And one of my clients owed the company who had 51,000 members, subscribers. Like I said about one of the biggest companies in America who didn't day trade themselves. That was one of my really, really good friends who owned that company. Dude was making millions and millions of dollars a month. And he told me, we never day traded ourselves. We were making money on the subscriptions.
Oh,
are you crazy?
God.
We would never put ourselves in a risk of day trading. So then when I told him I'm day trading, he's like, oh, please, just don't do that. I'm like, really? I would expect a different answer from you, man. You own one of the biggest companies in the country. Who was teaching the day trading. He's like, just be very, very careful. I'm telling you, we had over 50,000 subscribers. None of them made it in the long run. I'm like, all right. So then I was paying this company for the education, right? I burned the entire fucking account. Like it didn't work at all. And it was a show. It was a show. Like people were screaming in the video, and it was weird. I met a lot of rich people. They don't act like that. Like they don't talk like that. No, it was a show. I don't know what was the show for, but it didn't take me a long time to know that this is not the right place for me. So day trading is something I always advise people to be very careful. If you really want to do it, you probably need a lesson.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very, very important. No day trading, period, guys. Okay? No day trading.
Yeah, that would be my advice.
Okay. Any other strategies or financial planning that you generally suggest people to do? You talked a little bit about having a trust. We don't have to go into too much detail about that. I'll have an attorney on talking a little bit about trust. But anything else that you do or don't do, or you know of that you know is successful that maybe you don't necessarily
Well, no
incorporate?
investment is going to work unless you make money.
Mm-hmm.
So first you got to get your active income up.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
So
How do you
there's no
suggest?
way you can make a high active income without doing something that you're really passionate about. Just think about it. You really need to choose the industry that you can constantly keep talking about.
Right. So this is very, very useful information to everybody because there's so many gurus out there. I won't name names, although I've named them before, and you guys all know who one I'm talking about, but who like built a whole empire on teaching people certain strategies that aren't necessarily authentic for some of us. Like some people just aren't fascinated about certain types of ways of making money or earning, in creating their active income, right? So living passionately is really the fundamental piece, right? Like you want to be generating money and you can make money off of what you're passionate about. You believe
Think about
that.
it. Whatever you're passionate about, you just got to pass on to your follower. Use social media, right? So when you're passionate about a subject, you share the same passion with the follower, and then you form online communities. Facebook groups are very powerful. Very, very powerful. So you create whatever subject it is, whether it's a health and fitness or it's the acting, or you teach other people how to market on social media, whatever it is, you're very passionate about it, and you must be truly passionate about it because that's what you'll keep talking about every single day. I thought carnivore, fasting, and exercise every single day because I can do it and I love it. I can talk about it 24/7. That's why I never get tired of it, and that's why I can scale that business. So whatever the industry is, you talk about it on social media, and then you form the groups on Facebook. Because think about it this way, every mayor of this city has a good life within his city. Is a respected man. He's probably has the nicest property as well, maybe a free lunch here and there. So you form this electronic city and you become the mayor of that city, you're gonna have a good life. Made sense?
Yeah.
With whatever you're passionate about, you just keep teaching people about the industry, about the product, or about the service. And you just become better and better and better. And then you have to be representable. You have to get your speech up. You have to get absolute top knowledge on the topic. You have to be the professional in the industry. Once you become that professional, people will follow you.
Mhm.
And whatever you have along the way, whether it's a service or a product, people will get from you because they do trust you.
Right.
So you build that relationship, and the Facebook group is great because people build relationships between themselves too.
Mm.
They become friends, and then you have different rankings. They get points for different engagements. Like with my European company, the supplement company, we send people products for free for the points. For if they post a picture that they have plenty of our products, I look at the picture, I'm like, oh, you're missing that product. I'll send it to you for free. Just send me a message. And I posted right in front of thousands of people so everybody can see that I appreciate the customer. Thank you so much for buying so many of our products. And I see that you're missing one of our products. That one is on me.
That's amazing. I
You
love that
see?
strategy.
And you want to do that in front of the people, in front of the community. As the leader of the community, you want to show people that you're truly generous. You care about them. You appreciate their support. You can do that in communities. Communities are stronger than the followers.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. So social media, another like big plug. We need to use social media. You like Facebook groups. And I love how you described it as you being the mayor of your electronic city.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful, beautiful way of describing it. That's so true. I mean, it really changes. There's a lot of people I know that get really frustrated using social media. They, do the ads and they're very forced and they don't know how to be a leader. And I love that when you can step into being a mayor, like this is my community. I'm in charge here. But you have to be a very particular person. You have to be okay with being a leader and really shining. A lot of people aren't good at that or they don't want to do
I
that.
think when you build up your skill within your industry and you build up the confidence within the industry, you're gonna be the natural leader.
It's natural.
It's
Yeah.
natural. Once when you become the professional on the topic and you know the terminology, and most of the questions will not surprise you, and you have answered pretty much every single thing within the industry, your confidence is going to go up, and you can navigate people naturally.
Yeah.
It's going to become very easy for you. But you also can be afraid of the criticism when you step on a social media, because being afraid of the criticism is that's the best way not to tell things exactly how you mean it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna limit yourself because you're afraid of the criticism. So you might tap into the topic that is controversial, but you're gonna catch yourself, and you're not gonna go further and deeper into the topic because
Right.
you're afraid of the criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not gonna explain everything fully.
Yeah, and that's a really good point because I've thought about myself in social media, and I don't really get a lot of pushback from people because the way that I communicate a lot of things, it's about, this is what the research says, this is what I do, you decide for yourself. I mean, I do take a stand, and I'll say this is what's happening. And some people might, you know, I disagree, or this sounds like it's a fad. Like with a lot of the carnivore, it's like a fad. Well, I don't respond to it. It doesn't affect me because I'm so passionate and convicted about what I do and what my results are. It doesn't fucking matter.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what the criticism says. So I think I want to really push in with people, like when you are passionate about something and you really know it and you become it and it is you, which is a natural thing, you become that natural leader. It almost doesn't even matter, to me at least, it doesn't matter what other people say, because it's like, you have your opinion. You don't know my journey. You don't know the research. You don't know the experience. Your opinion, like their opinion, means nothing to me in the end.
Yeah, and I think you can become a natural leader just by practicing
Mm-hmm.
the parts of your industry, whatever it is, whether it's a fitness and carnivore, or if it's whatever industry it is. If you just keep developing your knowledge and skills, and you're not afraid to talk about it, and then you maybe do a little speech in front of 10 or 12 people, or you maybe turn the front camera on and you represent yourself on a video and you post it on social media, you overcome that fear. You
Mm-hmm.
overcome the fear, you get more comfortable with talking about the topic. And when you get very comfortable talking about the topic, that it doesn't even matter how many people are on live stream, or it doesn't even matter if you're talking in front of a 500, 2,000, 3,000 people crowd. That's when you're becoming a true leader. That's where we're hosting these carnivore events in Europe now. We have another one coming up on September 22nd. Sean Baker is going to be our speaker too.
Nice.
Dr. John Jacquist too. I'm going to be the speaker, my business partner in Slovakia too. So that we're going to host them in our country, which I'm very
Amazing.
excited about. So you just keep practicing that speech, and we got the biggest arena in the whole country for that seminar. So when you get on that stage and you look at the crowd and there's thousands of people in the crowd, you're not afraid to talk about the topic. That's not because you're a natural born leader. No, I've talked about this topic for hundreds of times,
Yeah.
thousands
Wow.
of times. It's just the same thing. It's another day for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you can become a leader by practicing the skill.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, what if one of our listeners, or a couple of our listeners at least, are in a situation where they're in their 9 to 5 job, they're making a shitty wage. How do you suggest they get out of that so they can start making a better active income so they can start investing?
So you got to keep the job. You got to keep the 9 to 5 first. Then you really got to be honest to yourself and tell yourself, okay, what is my real passion? And you got to turn that passion into the money. Every single passion can be turned into money. People can monetize literally everything these days. So when you're passionate about a certain subject, now you have to transition that passion onto people, whatever it is. And you start building your business while you're going to work. And then you get to a point where you can't be at two places at the same time. And that's when you jump off the cliff, and as you're falling down, you're building your parachute. That's the start of the business. That's how it starts. But you always keep the job first. You always have to pay for your bills. And when it comes to the investments, you can always do the investments. Even when you have your 9 to 5 with a very little money, you can put $50, you can put $100 into a basic fund, S&P 500. You're gonna get some highs now, but next year you might get some lows. And just do it on a weekly basis. Keep putting the money in there. Just 10%. You can use an interest calculator. In 30 years, it actually multiplies very well.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be if you making $60,000, $70,000 a year, that account at 60 is gonna be definitely the biggest account you ever owned. If you keep putting $100 in every single week.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
you can do that with your 9 to 5, but build business on the side. That would be my recommendation.
Mm-hmm. And whatever, based off of your passion, whatever that passion is.
Always, because you have to talk about it every day,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot fake it. Like I love talking to my clients. I can talk to my clients all day, and that's why I can scale that business, and I never get tired of it. But if I was in the industry that would bring me down, and I would not be passionate about, those people will feel it. I will not give the same energy, same vibe. I will not be on the same vibe and the same vibration as my clients are. They're excited to talk to me because they pay me, and I'm not excited to talk to them. They would feel it. if it was a topic that I don't like.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why you have to be very specific. Don't get yourself locked in the industry that you don't truly love, because it's hard to scale. You can't pretend that long.
It's very true. Just like in relationships.
Oh
You
yeah,
can't
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
cannot
Oh
fucking
yeah.
pretend
Yeah. Yeah.
longer than, I mean, 3 months the average person can pretend for 3 months. 6 months, I got you. You
Yeah.
cracked.
Yeah. 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 Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
I
very
think
true.
everybody has experience like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the same in work life. I know a lot of people. I've interviewed, some people in my podcast too, where everyone pretty much says who's ever been successful or gone through hardship, it really is about being authentic, like being as authentic as you can, following your passion. Not only is it the best and usually the easiest way to generate your revenue or get to that next level, but it's also a more fun and we want to have fun and enjoy our lives.
Yeah.
Having passion, doing what you're passionate about is great. And then hopefully if you're strategic and divine timing, like in your situation, the pandemic just sort of put you into this amazing space where you could accelerate, then, that's, I don't know if that's, you call that luck or it's just, right time, right space, alignment, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Think about it this way. You have this passion, right? You put this passion on social media. And if you're very passionate about it and you're talking about this subject and you're really professional on the topic and you can explain everything about it, somebody's going to listen. Out of all the people who own social media accounts, somebody's going to listen to you. And then more people are going to join and they're going to follow you. And now they're interested in what you're talking about. And then you have a decent following. And then from that following, you start farming your electronic communities, your
yeah,
small little cities where you're the mayor. And then you come up, you look at your city and you're like, okay, what does this city need? Is it a service? Is it a product? How I can service these people better?
yeah.
Well, at that point, you will already know because you know what you're talking about. You know your industry. You know what is the best for the people at the moment. So you form the product or the service, and these people will pay you for that. And now you start generating money from the city. And this income will go into the real estate and the stock market until you build the passive income to cover your expenses. And when you cover your monthly expenses from the passive income that you created by investments, that's the true freedom. That is the true freedom. And it doesn't matter how much, it's like, for example, if you lock in $3 million at 10%, you can feed a lot of people with that. That's $300,000 a year. That's passive. Now you have to be very skilled to do that at 10%. That requires a really good investor. So if you don't do as good of a job, you'll probably lock it in at 7 or 8%. But it's still a lot of money. You can feed a lot of people at 300,000. That's passive. I'm talking it's coming automatically. You don't have to do much. And that's what I think everybody deserves. You shouldn't be really
Yeah.
working. You shouldn't be really working to cover your existence on this planet.
It's inborn. Like that's our birthright, I feel.
Yeah.
It's our
yeah.
birthright to be able to be abundant and just be and do and create and enjoy life. Like we should not have to stress and struggle.
Exactly. So you better figure it out early on in life, made some good money,
Yeah.
invested in a good places, lock it in a good interest, and then the passive income is covering your bills, and then you never have to worry. And if you want to become a billionaire, then feel free, just walk the path.
Let's become billionaires. I like that idea.
I mean, that's my goal.
That's my goal too.
I'll whether get there or I die trying.
Right?
There's just no other way, nothing between. That's the experience I want from this life. I love
Yeah.
business. I truly do. And these are the experiences that I'm seeking. I'm trying to be helpful along the way.
Yeah, and that's a really good point because again, your interest is business. We had someone on the podcast, old man Marv, Uncle Marv, and he loves business. Like it's his natural drive. That's your natural drive. Many men I find are business driven. They love business. They love to learn. They love to do it. It's like it's their thing. But women, we're not, I mean, there are some of us that are really business driven, but I haven't met many women. I mean, there's some out there that have been, that are truly excited about business. They might have their own business, but they're very creative or whatever, but like driven the way men are and all of these things. I don't know if that's an innate thing or just part of the gender difference or historical or primal or whatever. But I don't know if you've advised or work with many women on the financial side. I mean, do you see any differences? I mean, I do, at least for the majority of the women that I know. They're still stuck in like the 9 to 5. They play small. It doesn't seem like they're as driven. I am very driven. to create and do bigger things. I mean, I'm sort of a baby. Everyone knows I've like rebuilding my life after like the fallout and all that things. But I mean, do you see a difference with women? Can you comment? Is there any like suggestion how women who maybe aren't so business focused or maybe don't know as much about investing or different strategies for
I have my
them?
investment groups in Europe, and I would say everybody, men and women, are interested in covering their bills with the passive income equally. I would say that is a pretty equal role for both genders. But get into a billion or millions of dollars or multi-millions or anything in that higher range, I would say most of the conversations about big money is with men, I would say. Yeah, I see a lot of men who are thriving for that big money more. Most of the conversations that I have with women is, getting the monthly necessities covered by the passive, and they're usually happy there.
I see.
But then from my clients, though, I worked with a lot of rich women. I worked with women who own $250 million companies,
And so what was their nature? So you said that,
like you, like me.
mm,
It's the same business spirit.
yeah.
They're just interested in business experiences. They like managing people. They like selling the product. They like the marketing. They like the struggle and the hassle of the business.
Mm.
They live for it. They don't freak out when things don't go right. They learn a lot from the mistakes. They attend seminars about the businesses. They
And
belong to financial groups.
yeah, it seems like the uber wealthy have that. They just crave it. They live it. They are it. They love the hustle and the bustle and the risk, and they don't freak out. Like I said, they're very emotionally intelligent when it comes to those things. It's like born in them. I don't think there exists a billionaire that hasn't made that kind of money without loving authentically that whole experience, the being okay with the hard work and the sleepless nights and the risk and all of it, right? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I met 2 billionaires in my life, and um,
They love the chase and the game of it all.
yes, I mean, one of them was
Like that is their passion. They're passionate about the risk and the game, and like they love it all. They love it
yeah.
all, right?
So one of them, I was told that you are the only person who sees him without the computer. And I'm like, why? He's like, because you're his trainer. And he cannot have his computer on him when he works out. But outside of here, this guy has a laptop on his knees and just drives around, and usually to the airport, into the jet, from the jet into the airport, from the airport to the hotel meeting, just constantly on his computer, always, 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 always working. So this person was just living for the work, for the job.
That
Um,
doesn't sound very balanced in terms of relationships or family or fun. It seems like
yes, and that's most of the
there's a
stories of the
there's
billionaires.
a
Another
deficit.
one,
Yeah.
another one that I talked to, one of his, one of my clients, his father was the 20th richest person in the planet, and when he talked to me about his childhood, it was exactly the same story. There's no balance like that.
Mhm.
These people just worked. Like he never appeared on any sport events, family events, and none of that. That's just business. So it really seems like that, get into that type of league this is what you really have to do. Now I'm pretty sure there's some stories that do have more balanced stories, but the 2 stories that I heard are very not balanced.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm putting out a call to any billionaires who want to be on my show talking about how you have a balanced life. I will expect crickets, but who knows? Maybe there is someone out there who hasn't inherited billions of dollars, who actually has made it. I would love to know if there was someone out there that was balanced. But well, we have eaten up an hour and 15 minutes, I think. We just like ran right through that time. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to put up again how people can reach you if they want your carnivore coaching, your financial advice, whatever. You got to chat with Daniel. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I've learned so much. Hopefully all of you out there have learned a little bit too.
Thank you so much, Leslie, for having me, Jen.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure you'll be
appreciate you.
back. Well, I'm sure there's more in your experience that you can bring some wisdom to my people. So thank you again so much.
Happy to talk to you guys. Thank you.
All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.